That is the point. You shouldn't have to apologize if people aren't happy with the treatment they're getting in Chicago. They made a decision to leave their homes. And unfortunately, they're still not happy. In the meantime, the people who live in your state are paying millions, if not billions of dollars eventually. You don't need to apologize.
No, I think you're absolutely correct, Bill.
So what is going on here? Well, as it turns out, many of the migrants, or at least some of the migrants, are regretting their decision to come to the United States. And it's no surprise, really. It takes all kinds, right? One person might move to an area and be like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Another person might move to the same area and be like, I hate it here with a burning passion. I lived in Minneapolis for a year and 3 months. Horrible place to be. Just awful. Why anybody would want to stay there, I don't know. But hey, there's a million people that live in that metro area. Probably more now. When I was there, it was 1 million people. So now, before we get into this, before we dive in and explore how ungrateful these immigrants are, I want to thank everybody for stopping by and supporting my channel and my work. Please remember to like, comment, and share. I hope today is the day that I earn your subscription. You can find me over on Rumble and on Twitter. Now, this is happening in New York and Chicago. I'm sure it's happening in other places too, but we're going to take a look at those two cities and what we're hearing coming out of those metropolitan areas.
Liberal sanctuary cities are so bad that even migrants want out. Asylum seekers say Chicago's so unpleasant that they're heading down south for the winter, with some even fleeing back to their home countries. One Venezuelan family told the Chicago Tribune that after several months of homelessness, lack of jobs, and limited access to better education, they realized, quote, the American dream doesn't exist anymore. Meanwhile, migrants in NYC are straight up rebelling against a new tent city in Brooklyn. Dozens of families arrived at the housing site and immediately wanted no part of it, claiming it's too far from jobs and schools. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says the city has no choice.
But winter is coming.
Yeah, it gets cold in Chicago. Very cold. We don't have the capacity to deal with all of these people coming in. We just don't have like jobs galore to go, okay, well, there's 4 million people that came this year. We can employ all of them. They can have a better life here. The only way we can give them a better life is by giving them a better life, by just giving them handouts. It's ridiculous. But as far as being cold in Chicago, people in college from New York City used to argue this with me, that it's colder in New York City, but it's not. On average, it's colder in Chicago in the winter. Where I'm from in Illinois, it's not Chicago, but it's colder even there in the winter. And so if you're not used to that temperature, that weather, it's miserable. It was miserable for me. I lived in Minneapolis in a 20-year winter. It was the worst winter they had seen in 20 years. More snow, lower temperatures. It was horrible, and it was difficult for me to deal with. It would not be as bad for me to deal with that as somebody coming from a tropical paradise to Chicago in the winter. That's just, it's a nightmare dealing with that. Now, these people want to leave. Do you think they're going to go back to their home countries, actually? It said that, right? Would you rather just go back to Venezuela? No. They're going to, like, Texas. They're going to Louisiana. They're going to warm places in the United States. They're not leaving this country. Come on now. Give me a break.
So many of these sanctuary cities now unable to keep up. In Chicago, for example, a group of people who came out of Venezuela, all the way from Venezuela with hopes of a better life. They've been living on the streets. They say, we're going back home. One of them declaring the American dream doesn't exist.
Let's switch over to New York and see what's going on over there.
The opening of the new migrant shelter at Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn did not go as smoothly as some officials had hoped.
Several migrant families that were bused to the facility refused to stay there. They got right back on the bus. Briella Tomasetti at Floyd Bennett Field. What's going on? How is this possible?
Yeah, it is possible, Rosanna and Dan. Clearly, the situation is not ideal here. It's a transit desert. It is far from everything. It's not close to where parents have to take their kids to school. The bathrooms, the showers are outside. A long list of concerns. I could go on and on. But 23 families with children were expected to arrive here yesterday. Not all of them obviously stayed. A spokesperson for the mayor's office telling the New York Post that while some migrants did reject the site, another busload of asylum seekers arrived at around 2:30 yesterday afternoon, and they did opt to stay.
Yeah, you heard that right. Their children are going to our schools. Do these people pay property tax or any other tax other than sales tax? No, of course not. That would make sense. Here's a further confirmation of their attendance at our schools.
City Council member Joanne Ariola, who represents neighborhoods in Queens, posted on the social media platform X that migrants refuse to stay for various reasons, such as location, conditions, and the proximity of the schools where their children are registered.
But the overall point here that we see is this is a lack of gratitude. These people came here illegally, and yet for some reason, our dumbasses let them stay, let them come in, bust them all the way across the country. I mean, this is not a difficult problem to solve. Oh, we have laws against it. Change the laws. Oh, Biden tried to do that. In case you didn't know, Biden tried to change the laws back to something similar to what Trump had.
A federal judge here in California has shot down one of the Biden administration's restrictions on people seeking asylum here in the U.S.
The judge ruled the policy mandating people try to seek asylum in another country before requesting it at the U.S. border violates U.S. asylum law.
Hey, immigrants! Beat it! Country's full!
Okay, folks, you heard the lady. Back into the hold.
This attitude right here is what the problem is with the United States. Why this is happening. And the only way to stop it is to get rid of the sheep.
It's not humane. This is not the way you treat human beings. They want to go back into their rooms at the Watson Hotel. This is what they think of as their home right now. This is their home right now.
Now, here's another example of this happening in New York. This immigrant decided he didn't like his accommodations, so he had to return to the luxury hotel.
These migrants housed here since they were bused in New York City are getting on the bus again. This time, we're told they're being transferred to the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal in Red Hook, where cots have been set up, except they don't want to go. Pedro Duran, originally from Venezuela, arrived in New York in mid-October. He was already bused to Brooklyn, but said it was so cold he came back to the Watson, except he is no longer welcomed here.
See, nothing's going to be good enough for these people. They're ungrateful. They're just... They are the worst type of people that we see already in the country, who are born and raised here, some of them, many of them, who they think that everything should be handed them on a silver platter and it should be whatever they want. This notion that we just have unlimited resources, which we don't. You know what? I have a solution for these people. They need to be put somewhere else. I hear this place is really nice this time of year. I mean, it's like just one of the nicest places you can go to this time of year especially. It's called the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. You don't like it here? You don't like what we're offering you for free? We'll drop you off out there. See how you like that. Here it's nice this time of year.
When wintertime rolls around, the gorillas simply freeze to death.
And the fact of the matter is, we apparently just do not have the ability to accommodate all of these people that are coming into the country. And it's true. I mean, we don't have the infrastructure, the services to give all of these people a place to stay, to give all these people jobs, et cetera, all of the things. And here are some people talking about that.
We are at capacity. We have 65,000 people being housed right now. They have been accommodated in many times hotel rooms in New York City for long periods of time. That's not sustainable. And so the option is to say, if you want to take advantage of public supported housing and shelter for now, this is your option.
More psychiatric center in Queens and another on Randall's Island.
Big problem is the situation that New York City is in. And so again, a site like this is needed because we don't have anywhere else. If we have some other places, I'd love for people to let us know where they are.
Hey, immigrants! Beat it! Country's full!
Now here's a guy that says that he has the solution to the housing problem in New York City. This can save the city, apparently. Who knew that it would be so easy to just solve this problem? It was right under our noses the whole time.
He could have easily, along with Governor Hochul, opened up all the vacant luxury apartments. We are on 57th Street right now. This is Billionaires Row. Half of the super towers on this street are empty.
So no, this guy's wrong. We can't put these people in luxury apartments in New York City. How dare we? How dare we treat these people with such disregard, put them in luxury apartments, billion-dollar apartments in New York City. We need to tear those high-rises down, build these people 3-story luxury houses with yards, driveways, and garages, and put them into those houses. One family per house. Anything less is a travesty. And not only that, on top of all that, they need to be served champagne, caviar, and filet mignon every single day. Every day. Or else it's just, we're not doing our job as good citizens of the world, taking these people who have given us nothing but grief, nothing but suffering, brought nothing but suffering with them. Anything less than luxury is just immoral, don't you know? So ridiculous the way these people think. Every single one of these people that cross the border illegally should have immediately been put into a hard work labor camp at the bare minimum. Oh, that's indentured servitude, that's slavery. No, they broke the law. They go into prison. In prison, you're allowed to indenture inmates. All these people broke the law. And we are giving them accommodations. It's freaking ridiculous. Now, what is happening to these people who are refusing the accommodations in New York City? Let's find out.
The Legal Aid Society toured this site a few weeks ago and wrote a long list of concerns to the city about why it is not suitable for families with children. Representatives were back here again yesterday. They are doubling down on their calls for the city to pull out of this plan. But the question remains, with people already moving in, is that even possible at this point? For now, we're live at Floyd Bennett Fields. Dan and Rosanna, back to you.
So, Briella, before you go, I heard those people who refused to stay at Floyd Bennett now are on their own.
Well, there was actually a person who was working here and coordinating the people getting on and off the buses, Rosanna. He told our reporter who was here yesterday that they were going to the Roosevelt Hotel, which was the intake center. So it's unclear really what the deal is here, if they're going there, if they're going somewhere else, if they're getting on a bus and they're on their own at this point. The city has really not given us too many answers as to what's going on, so not so concrete.
Interesting. Okay, Briella, thank you so much.
So apparently we don't know. We don't understand we don't know what's going on with them for sure. But, ship them out of the country. Don't let them fend for themselves. When they come here, the very most we should be giving them, the very most, is you get to stay in this country. That's it. We won't deport you. You figure it out from here. Well, it's illegal for you to work. It's illegal for you to do lots of things, like drive because you don't have a proper driver's license. You can't vote, et cetera, et cetera. So why are you even here at that point? But no, we got to save the whole world. Yeah, we have. We've offered the world salvation by giving them the model of how to live for 120 years now. But nobody listen to me. Just keep ruining this country. Let's make it a third world nation. That would be ideal, I'm sure. Anyway, ridiculous. Oh, thank you for watching, everybody. I do appreciate you all stopping by again. And now it's time for your palate cleanser. Have fun.